The champagne flute shattered against the hardwood floor, a crystalline scream slicing through the wedding's laughter. My hand trembled, the sting of betrayal sharper than the glass shards glinting under the chandelier's glow. Across the dance floor, Emily swayed in his arms, her co-worker, Ethan, whose grin cut deeper than any knife. Their bodies pressed too close, her laughter too bright, his hand lingering on her waist. I stood frozen, the room spinning, as every guest's oblivious joy mocked the fracture in my chest. We'd arrived at the vineyard wedding hand in hand, Emily's emerald dress catching the late afternoon sun, her smile promising forever. "This'll be us one day," she'd whispered, squeezing my fingers. I believed her. I always did. The ceremony unfolded in a haze of vows and rose petals, but it was the reception where the air began to curdle. Ethan appeared, all easy charm and tailored suit, pulling Emily onto the dance floor with a familiarity that pricked my skin. I watched from the bar, nursing a whiskey, telling myself it was nothing, just a colleague, just a dance. But the dances didn't stop. One song bled into another, and Emily's laughter grew louder, her body leaning into his. I caught fragments of their conversation. Inside jokes about late nights at the office, shared glances that excluded me. My stomach churned, doubt creeping like ivy up my spine. Was I imagining it? She'd always been tactile, warm, the kind of person who made everyone feel special. Maybe this was just her, radiant and magnetic, drawing him in like she did everyone. But his hand slid lower, and her eyes didn't search for mine. I tried to join them, weaving through the crowd with a forced smile. "Mind if I cut in?" My voice sounded hollow, even to me. Emily's eyes flickered. Surprise, or was it guilt? Before she laughed it off. "Don't be silly, Mark. We're just having fun." Ethan smirked, his grip on her tightening for a split second before he stepped back. I took her hand, but her warmth felt borrowed, her gaze darting to him as the music shifted. The rest of the dance was mechanical, her body present but her heart elsewhere. Back at our table, I sat alone, the clink of silverware and chatter fading into a dull roar. My mind replayed every moment. The late-night texts she'd brushed off as work, the weekends she'd spent at team-building retreats. I'd trusted her implicitly, built my life around her promises. But now, each memory felt like a puzzle piece snapping into a picture I didn't want to see. I sipped my drink, the burn of whiskey mirroring the fire in my chest. Anger, yes, but also a desperate hope I was wrong. The videographer roamed the room, capturing candid moments. I flagged him down, my voice low. "Can you focus on the dance floor for a bit? Just keep the camera on Emily." He nodded, oblivious to the storm brewing in me. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I needed proof. Something to silence the whispers in my head or confirm the dread pooling in my gut. As the night wore on, the signs grew bolder. Ethan's arm brushed hers at the bar, their heads bent too close over a shared joke. She didn't pull away. I watched, heart hammering, as she tossed her hair back, the same way she did when we first met, when her eyes were only for me. The room felt airless, the fairy lights blurring into halos of accusation. I wanted to confront her, to scream, but fear held me back. Fear of being wrong, of being right, of shattering us. The videographer returned, slipping me a USB drive. "Got some great footage," he said, oblivious to the weight of his words. I clutched it, the plastic cold against my palm, and slipped into a quiet corner. My laptop glowed in the dimness as I plugged in the drive. The footage unfolding like a slow-motion car crash. There they were, Emily and Ethan, framed in golden light. Her hand lingered on his chest, his lips too close to her ear. A whispered exchange, her giggle, his knowing smile. And then, in a moment the camera caught but I'd missed, she glanced at me, then leaned closer to him. My breath caught, rage and heartbreak colliding. I wanted to believe it was innocent, that she was just caught up in the moment. But the footage didn't lie. Every frame was a betrayal, each laugh a blade. I sat there, replaying it, searching for a reason to doubt what I saw. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe he was manipulative. Maybe I wasn't enough. The thoughts spiraled, guilt and self-doubt warring with fury. I'd given her everything, my trust, my future, and she'd danced it away in front of everyone. The idea came like a spark in the dark. I couldn't confront her here, not with the crowd, not with her laughter still echoing. But I could make her see. I could make them all see. I found the venue's tech booth, my hands shaking as I handed the USB to the confused AV guy. Play this on every screen during the toast, I said, my voice steady despite the chaos inside. Loop it. The toast began, the bride's father raising a glass, his voice warm with nostalgia. The screens flickered to life, and there it was, Emily and Ethan, their intimacy exposed in high definition. Gasps rippled through the crowd, heads turning, whispers spreading like wildfire. Emily's face drained of color, her eyes locking on mine across the room. Ethan froze, his charm evaporating. The room felt suspended, every eye on us, the air thick with shock and judgment. She pushed through the crowd, her voice breaking. Mark, what are you doing? This isn't what it looks like. But her words were hollow, drowned by the footage looping behind her. I wanted to believe her, even now, but the truth was undeniable, carved into every frame. You made your choice, I said, my voice low, trembling with pain. Now everyone knows. I turned and walked out, the night air cold against my skin. Her footsteps chased me, her voice pleading, but I didn't stop. The vineyard stretched dark and endless, the stars indifferent above. I'd loved her with everything I had, but love wasn't enough to mend what she'd broken. Behind me, the music stopped, replaced by the hum of shocked voices, but I kept walking, each step heavier with the weight of what I'd lost, and what I'd done. The betrayal wasn't just hers. I'd exposed her, humiliated her, and part of me reveled in it. But as I drove away, the USB still in my pocket, guilt crept in. Had I gone too far? Was I the villain now, or was she? The questions burned, unanswered, as the wedding lights faded in my rearview mirror, leaving only the ache of a love that no longer fit.